Welcome Raiders to another Raid Shadow Legends video, and in this one we're going to be talking about something that's pretty close to home, something that I need to address that's been happening behind the scenes to a lot of people, and people kind of throw it under the rug. A lot of people are just like, it's typical stuff, it happens in every game, but it's been happening a lot more lately, and it's very dangerous. So I want to talk about the dangers of playing mobile games. All right. And I want to talk about Raid in kind of like in a nutshell of what it is as a whole, right? So a lot of people know it first started off before you were probably playing it on Player and Play way back in the days. It was a mobile game, right? You would download it just like any other game. You would play it, and it wasn't fully fleshed out. It was brand new. Didn't have a lot of champions like it does now. Didn't have a lot of mechanics, right? It wasn't even that many bosses, and it felt super kind of pay to win, as people would say, because one, it doesn't have a lot of tutorials in game. You had to go to other areas. You had to go to their official forum of Plarium, right? You had to come here. You had to go to the raid section, right? You had to come and go to the different parts of the forum to get all the information, because there wasn't that much information. If you were in the Discord, you weren't getting that information, so you had to come here. Or you could go to the official site that's not the forum, and you'd have to learn, like, certain champions or get beginner tips and things like that. Or you have to go on YouTube and learn, like, tons and tons of research and stuff like that to find out what to do in the game. It was not easy, to the point where no one even knew the strategies. We had to come up with the strategies, right? They didn't have pre-selective like teams and tell you like, this, you should try this, or nothing like that, right? Nothing was known. It was kind of like they just threw it out there and went, let's see what happens, right? And then of course, as a community, we kind of like built up and figured out, we could use this, do this. Cool, that's amazing. Every game is good like that. But then you get to a certain point where you're starting to notice, like, man, I can't even do this content because I don't have this, or I don't have or my gear doesn't reach a certain level, or I can't put like 10,000 energy or 100,000 energy into grinding back then stage 20 dragon. People couldn't even do stage 20 dragon. I remember when I was stuck on stage 16. So then you hit like this thing known as the wall, right? In these type of games, usually if you're free to play, or if you don't have a lot of knowledge, you'll hit this wall, and this wall, two things can happen. You either break through the wall, or you get screwed, right? Like, you're just like, I can't do nothing, right? You just feel powerless to the point where you're like, oh, I have to spend, right? That's the mindset you get. Is you're like, well, what if I spend like 10, 20 bucks? It's gonna help. I know it's gonna help, right? You like think to yourself, there's no way that if I spend, I'm not gonna win. But that's not guaranteed, right? Even if you spend, it doesn't mean you're actually gonna use those resources or have the knowledge of whatever you invested into to use it wisely anyways. So people will spend hundreds to thousands and still not progress. You might beat that wall, but now you've hit another wall, right? And you see where this is going. People can spend crazy amount of money. I mean, like, Raid is one of the biggest games where you can spend a lot, because honestly, they do kind of overvalue a lot of the stuff that they have in their games. Most of the people's packs are half the amount that you can get in Raid. There's a problem when there's third-party stuff, right, that allows you for other things to go get it for you, so you don't have to do it, so you can save money. Because of region, right? Because of the cost, currency is different in different parts of the world. People use that, right? And that's crazy, because they don't want to reduce those prices. So what I'm trying to get to is basically be careful. If you're going to play Raid free to play, you should stick to always being free to play. If you want to be a low spender, you want to be $10, $15, then stay that and never go past that, right? What I'd like to do is, if I'm on my phone, I put Google Play Store as a limit, and it tells me you've reached your limit, right? Like 20 bucks. So that way I'm like, oh, damn, I already passed my limit. I'm not going anymore. All right. And then for people who do spend a lot, you should definitely get yourself two people. You need to get yourself someone who, like, an account takeover specialist, kind of like myself, or someone who, like, who knows the game a lot. Get into the Discord and ask them questions and stuff like that. You could save yourself legit easily thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's crazy how much you can save. Because people dump way too much into everything because of everything they see other people, other Krakens, other whales with the same exact thing, right? And then they're like, oh, I will have to have that to do that. Not true. And sometimes they'll spend lots of money getting all the champions, like all the new mythicals, everything, right? They're like, all right, cool, I'm gonna get a +4 Gallagher, I'm gonna be amazing. But then you still got to get the souls. Then you still have to have the right gear. Then you have to have a full Great Hall, right? And then you have to have mythical tomes to fully book your Gallagher. You know, so it's a whole other step on top of other stuff, and then eventually people just get sunk deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And if you don't have the financial means to do it, like it doesn't like matter to you, like you're just like wiping your like, oh, it's yeah, it was 1,000, I don't feel that. Oh, 10,000, I don't feel that. Then you should, then I can understand, right? Then you're a high roll player, kind of like going into a casino. But if you're not, you don't want to do this, man. Like it is really bad. A lot of things that I've been seeing behind the scenes is that people will invest into raid, right? And what ends up happening is they'll start off really happy. They're enjoying, they're spending. They're like, yeah, I'm pulling all the stuff I want. They get lucky. They get to a point in the game where they're like, dang, I've already invested so much. Why do I feel like I have to keep investing more? I've already put this a certain amount. Why gotta put another double or another 5K? Like I shouldn't have to. I've already invested, right? But it's almost as if every single time you reach a threshold, you're like, here, I'm at endgame. There's a new endgame, right? And you're like, I'm never going to get there unless I spend, right? And a lot of people do that, and they and eventually get to the point where they get mad at the game because they feel like, okay, if I've invested this much, game's not getting better, or my account's not as where I want it to be because I can't pull certain things. For instance, I'll give you an example, the Machan situation. Imagine spending $25,000 and not getting one champion that you want. That doesn't make sense. When in other games, I could spend literally $200-300 and get a fully maxed out version of that character. Not like the character, no, copies of that character. But you can only get, you can't even get one after spending that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of nuts. So there's, that's probably another discussion for a whole nother video. The summon portal definitely needs better rates or a better way to get champions that you do want. That's a whole nother video. But I just wanted to talk about that particularly because I see that so many times where it's like, I can't get it. And I feel it myself too. I don't even worry about what I get now. I just hope that I get something, right? But a lot of people always want, you know, they'll push on for something, some Unity champion, or they'll come over here during the Prism events and try to go crazy to get one thing and then get scammed. And you just feel like you're always getting scammed. Or if you are winning, let's say you are winning, just because you win doesn't mean you're actually going to win, right? You still have other things that have to be implemented first to then get to that point where you can be like, okay, this is actually usable. I can actually like take this to the end game level. I think for me personally, I think that people should enjoy the game enjoy the game in terms of PvE first. And once you got PvE down, then you can start investing into going hardcore PvP. You can still do PvP, but don't go insane because it's very stressful. It's gonna, you know, make you not want to play, especially live arena. Will make you be like, oh, I'm wasting my time, or I'm not winning as much. It's just get your PvE really good first, and then you can start focusing on the PvP. And also for people who are spending too, you have to understand that the value that you're putting into the money into raid, it's not like you know, at one point back then we used to think that raid was like the best game, like literally, and people do it because it has a high age demographic, right? It's like younger people are not going to play it because one, it's too expensive, and younger people should be focusing on their future, right? And then everyone that's older who already has a lot of money or a decent job, or like you know be able to spend like, let's say $50 or $100 a month to play raid, which feels like a whole job itself. Those people probably don't have to worry too much because they're not, you know, they're at a different part in their life. Hopefully, right? Because you don't want to be in your 30s, 40s, or 50s and you barely have any money. That's really bad. And then you're giving that money to Plarium, and then you have even less for your future, right? And you're already old. So I will say, me personally, I spent way too much. I wish I could take half of the money back, right? This game is just overvalued, way overvalued, in my opinion. It used to have higher value because it was doing different things, and the things that it was pushing for were going in the right direction. But then they added way too much scaling to the game, way too much, without giving enough to catch up. Now we're trying to catch up with souls, blessings, relics, and everything else. We're trying to catch up now, right? And it's a long. It's not like a steep like going like this. It's like a barely up and then barely up, going up there. And if you're not spending, you're not gonna jump up like, you know, very fast unless you're getting stupid lucky. For me personally, who's put over 15 grand into raid, right, which is a lot of money, I have a free mythical, another free mythical, and I only have one mythical that I pulled. And I didn't pull it during a 2x. I pulled it during a 10x because I needed to pull for like some summon rush or hero's path. So it wasn't even like luck. I mean, sorry, it wasn't even like 2x that got me like extra luck. It was just randomness, RNG. So I will say that like you just gotta, you know, you gotta be careful. Some people come in here, man, and they're putting in like cars worth, house worth of money into the game, and then they get their, you know, they just get wrecked like completely. And it's really dangerous. And this is not even just for players that are coming new to the game, because I understand acquisition is important. We got to bring new people in because the Krakens and the whales, they get milked, right? They get milked. If they're willing to keep going, it's fine. But if they're not willing, they quit completely, right? They get really really angry at playing, really mad at Raid Shadow Legends, and they just like completely leave, completely. Some people come back, some people just quit completely. And that's just not good. Like, why would you want an infinite cycle of coming back and forth or stopping and going and stopping and going? Like, you just go all the way or completely stop, in my opinion. That's how it would be. Do you go back to your exes? No. Do you go back to old jobs you quit? No. Right? So it's like, you know, and I understand that sometimes people need a break because they get burnt out. But are you getting burnt out because you're playing or burnt out because you're spending and you don't want to spend? You see? Like, so you have to ask, like, think to yourself that. So, me personally, I just, as an endgame player now, I try to take it nice and easy. So whenever anybody tells me like, oh, you don't have this, I'm like, I don't care. Right? Let me show you, right? So I just got Ramontu like a month ago, and now look where I'm in from Marius. Right? And you might be like, damn, how are you that far away from Marius after being like endgame? I just don't care. Right? I have other priorities. My priorities is as an account takeover specialist, right? Is to help other people. That's why I play Raid. So I really feel like if when people come to the game, you have to ask yourself, why am I playing this game for? Do you want to do PvP? Do you like to build out champions? Do you like to just beat hard content? Do you need a challenge? Right? There has to be a purpose of why you're playing it. Not just playing because, well, I have nothing else to do. Or I've already sunk cost fallacy, right? Where I've already spent enough, Jay. I can't stop playing because I already spent enough. I have to keep going. I can't just quit now. I mean, yes, you can. I mean, I spent a lot on previous people in my life, in my past, and they're gone. And I wish I could get all that time and money back. Right? But that's just how it is. So, like, you just got to be careful with that mindset. You can't always, like, well, I got to keep going. I mean, if you want to, go on, you do it because you want to, not because you have to. Right? So, that is another thing I've noticed a lot of people, you know, can't take it when I die. Exactly, yeah. You can't take it with you, right? The Egyptians tried to take all their fucking belongings when they died too. Well, guess what? It didn't go with you. It's still with us here on the physical plane, right? But that's just one thing I want to talk about. One aspect of it is people, you know, getting too much into it. I've seen so many people, literally so many people get sick from playing Raid. I've seen so many people who got screwed over financially because they invested too much into Raid. I know a lot of people who quit the game, came back twice, and then they're mad that they're playing the game. And I'm like, why are you mad? You came back twice. You made the choice to come back. What? You see content creators leaving the game. How many times has J-Gigs quit and came back? We have like 5 new content creators that have quit and came back as well, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm totally fine with people coming back to the game. I totally understand that. Or new people making new content creators coming up in the space. I don't mind, bro. I don't mind. But, you know, it's kind of weird when you, like, bash the company or bash the game and then you're like, no, I would never come back, and then you come back. It's just kind of weird. It makes you wonder. And I understand what's going on. So I'll explain to you. So as Plarium slowly mentally tries to get people to spend, who are not strong, like mentally willed, right? They'll get to a point where they're like, I can't do this anymore, right? They'll give their account away to the community after spending like 20, 30, 50,000 and be like, I can't play. I got more real life things to do in my real life, right? then that account gets, you know, given to the community. Some person gets that account, cool, and goes, oh my god, yay, they love this account, they start playing it, they start spending in it. Guess what happens? Same thing happens to that person. They're like, oh, I don't like this game anymore, I'm spending too much, I need to go do real life. They quit the game, that account goes back to the community, someone else gets it. You see the infinite loop cycle. But then you're losing a player. How do you get new players? How do you get new Krakens and new whales to come into the game and want to spend? New player acquisition. And how do you do that? New player codes and new stuff like that. And then you know, new events to get people in, and content creators who get sponsored to play the game, they come in. Yeah, I like this game, it's so fun. Hey, what you get involved in the community. Boom, 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 boom. Next thing you know, you're a mid-game player within like a week or maybe a month. Next thing you know, you're late game within 2 months. Next thing you know, your end game within a year, or maybe even sooner, probably 5 months if you're hyper spending, right? And you're now your end game player, and you're like, yeah, I can fight with everybody else, but you're not going to be able to fight with everybody else because they have gear, they have so much spent over the course of years of playing. So now you're like, damn, I have to spend more money after spending all this money that I just spent. How much can I need to spend? Then guess what happens? They do the exact same thing. They quit the game. They give it to the community. A new player comes in to get that account. Infinite cycle happens, and it's crazy. It's actually insane. And you would think with all the money coming in, the game would get insanely better. It has new things, quotations, new things in the game. True. New patches, new adjustments, new buffs. Cool. But that's normal stuff that every game does. We need something actually new that we really, really need, that the game's needed since day one, right? Ways to farm books. Even if it takes a long time, who cares? As long as it's there. We need to have new masteries. The masteries have been there since day one. They've never changed unless there's some nerf or adjustment to them, right? A better summoning portal system that can help us actually choose what we want to get. While other games have 50-50s or guarantees, this game has a casino. Well, if you get lucky, you get lucky. If you know, hey, there's nothing we can do about that. Right? Like it's like, dang, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, the value of what you're spending in the game is not the value of what they're actually showcasing. As someone who spent a lot, like a lot of things I bought, I didn't buy because I wanted to. I just kind of did it for content, and I was like, well, let's see, right? Just to kind of get that like itch, right? Of like kind of like a see if I get lucky, right? Dopamine itch. But I don't get that anymore from Raid, unfortunately. But I go play another game and I'll get spoiled, and I'm free to play, and I'm getting spoiled. I'm like, what the? It's crazy. But I come here and it's like, think about a real casino, right? If you walk into a real casino, they give you free drinks. They like, you have a nice looking area. You can get a lounge. You can get all this stuff because they want you to spend. You come here, it's like, we want you to spend, but everything is all fucking gated, all blocked, and you can't do this. It's crazy. It's insane, in my opinion. Especially after the game's been out this long and it's made this much, it definitely deserves more. Needs to be put into the game. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, Jay, it's probably because Plarium has a whole bunch of other roster of stuff, right? It's not just Raid. Plarium is also Mech Arena, Merge Gardens, Vikings, Throne, Stormfall, Rise of Baller, and Soldiers Mobile Warfare. There's, what, 7 games right here. So we can't put all our money as a company into one game, especially when it makes the most amount, right? We gotta make sure we milk enough here, but we gotta make other stuff that can still milk and still be useful and bring something as a whole to the gaming sphere. I don't know. It just, me personally, I'm just like, okay, I get it, right? A business is a business, but at the same time, if I go to Walmart or I go to like some other store like Kroger's or something like that, you know, I don't go in there, walk in the door, it's like, oh, it's free. But if you want to get to the milk aisle, you gotta spend money first, you know what I'm saying? Or you can spend like 2 months and we'll open up the milk aisle for you, you know what I'm saying? It's just weird. It's just weird for me personally. It's still a great game. I still think it's like an 8 out of 10. But I don't think it'll ever be 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 or worthy of spending lots. So the reason why I'm making this video is because I don't see the importance of spending. I don't like, I was spending before, right? I'll say I'll take a break maybe for a month or two, then spend, then be like, all right, let me try my luck, and then take a break. Oh, let me try my luck. But that's all you're doing, is just trying your luck. But the luck is never like hardcore in your favor. While in other games, you can actually work around the system to make it always work in your favor. There's still some RNG to a degree, but it still works to your favor and you have control of that RNG to a sense, right? And they'll show you like your mercy. They'll let you know where you're at. Everything is transparent. Raid is all about making sure you don't have enough information so you get screwed. Right? Imagine if you actually, when you come to these packs and they show you like minus 33%. Have you ever seen that like this? That's not true. It's not really plus 33%. It's just an ad. It's just an ad to make you want to go, wow, yeah, I'm going to buy that. I just think Plarium, when it comes to Raid, it needs to have a lot more transparency, a lot more honesty. It's enough. It's been enough time of just not having enough information. Have an actual real tutorial, have an actual thing that actually helps people play, learn the game, right? Because the whole concept of this game is basically put the least amount of information, the most expensive packs to get the most out of people. But in actuality, you don't need all that. You just need to have other prior information, which you can't get unless someone like myself or you watch a video to get that information. So that's just kind of shady, you know what I'm saying? And I understand it's called Shadow Legends, but the Shadow is supposed to be something we're supposed to cleanse as a community in Teleria, right? Something we're supposed to clear that so that everything could be nice and good, right, in the world. Just more of the story is you guys just got to be careful. You really got to be careful when you download and play Raid Shadow Legends in general. I'm not saying you shouldn't spend. If you want to, hey, do what you want, man. I don't care. I'm just letting you know the dangers of it, because even myself, if you didn't know this, I almost went homeless twice. Okay, twice. and you might be like, "Oh, it's because of Raid Shadow Legends?" No, it's because of my, self and my problems, I guess you could say, right? I should have said no. The power of saying no. But of course, you just kind of you got to go all the way. You got to go crazy sometimes. And sometimes you go a little too crazy, which can cause you to get to a point where you're like, oh man, what do I do? Right? I'm luckily and I'm blessed that my community has helped me a lot, financially and behind the scenes as well, right? So it has helped me keep going, right? Otherwise I would have got screwed over. And I'm just tired of seeing other people that I know personally or other content creators who are very upset that they've invested so much and they feel like damn, they've reached a point where they're starting to unveil, right? They're starting to unveil the perfectness, bars, right, of Raid and seeing it as a whole and going, wow, things are not changing, things are not better, communication's still the same with the company, certain things like that, and they're like starting to lose their minds. They're starting to go like, what the F, right? And they're starting to see other games, and they're hoping that other stuff like Godforge or other people who make new games or other Chinese games that are going up, seeing like maybe this is a way to transition now, right? So, and last thing I want to say is, if you've met a new Raid Shadow Legends content creator and you've subscribed to them either in their Discord or YouTube or Twitch, especially on YouTube, be careful. Just because someone goes, hey, and they're all happy on the outside, let me know they don't always have your best interest inside, okay? Let me just tell you that. A lot of people play the clown, they play this act to get you in and make you do certain things, and then behind the scenes they're actually a whole different way and doing the total opposite of what they're telling you online. So be careful, okay? Because there's a lot of shady people out there. They do it for acquisition, to get people in, to build themselves up, to make themselves self-profit. They do not care about you. So just be careful about those certain individuals, all right? Anyways, thank you for watching this video. What do you guys think about, spending in Raid? What do you think about the current state of Raid right now as well? Let me know down in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next one.